Okay, so have you ever recommended something you absolutely love, like your favorite coffee shop or a gadget you can't live without, only to have your friend just completely ignore your advice? It feels a little weird, doesn't it? Well, it turns out that moment does way more than just sting your pride. It can actually change your mind about the very thing you just recommended. So yeah, let's get into this. It's a fascinating little psychological chain reaction.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're just trying to be helpful. You're sharing this great experience with a product you totally trust. You feel confident, like you've just dropped some valuable knowledge to help a friend out. But then they go and choose something completely different. And that's where the real story starts. It's not about their decision. It's about what happens inside your own head. Yeah, because here's the crazy part. This isn't really about your friend's choice at all. It's about how their choice makes you feel about a product you were totally loyal to just a minute ago. I mean, how can someone else's simple no thanks make you ditch something you genuinely loved? It's pretty wild.
And look, this isn't some rare, bizarre thing. Recommending stuff is super common. In fact, research shows that 55% of us, that's more than half, recommend something to a friend or family member at least once a month. So this subtle psychological effect, it's not some weird edge case. It's potentially messing with our decisions every single month.
So what is really going on in that awkward moment, when they tell you they bought the other thing? Well, the research points to one simple core finding.
It's a really clear split. If your advice gets accepted, boom, your loyalty to that product stays totally strong. But if it gets rejected, your own intention to buy it again actually drops. All of a sudden, that travel mug you raved about maybe isn't so great after all. So why? What's going on here?
The answer, as it turns out, has pretty much nothing to do with the product itself. The reason our loyalty starts to wobble is all about one really powerful psychological concept. And that concept is called self-perceived expertise. Now, this isn't about how much you actually know, okay? It's about how much you think you know. It's all about your own confidence in your judgment as a smart shopper. So here's the punchline. When someone rejects your recommendation, you don't just think, oh, okay, they didn't like that mug. No, your brain subconsciously interprets it as, maybe my judgment isn't as good as I thought it was. It feels like a direct hit to your credibility. And this sets off a really clear chain reaction. It goes like this. You start out feeling confident and knowledgeable. Then, boom, the rejection happens. That triggers a little moment of self-doubt. And that doubt makes you question your own expertise. And as a result, the product you were just championing suddenly loses some of its shine.
Now, you might be thinking, wait a second, isn't this just social proof? I found out my friend bought something different, so I changed my mind. But the research actually shows it's way more specific than that. I mean, check out this data from the study. It's pretty striking. If you just learn that your friend chose a different pen, you're only about 5% more likely to switch your own choice. But if you first recommend a pen and then get rejected, whoa, that number jumps all the way to 35%. It's the act of recommending that puts your expertise out there on the line, and that's what makes the rejection hit so much harder. Okay, but of course, it's not always quite so dramatic. It turns out certain factors can either crank this effect up to 11 or kind of protect you from it entirely. First up, who's doing the rejecting really matters. The data's super clear on this. A rejection from a close friend, that has a way bigger negative impact on your loyalty than one from just some casual acquaintance. It seems like when someone we really trust doubts our advice, it cuts a lot deeper into our sense of self-worth. And second, the kind of product you're talking about matters too. So let's say a recommendation is about something with objective quality, like a faster, more powerful laptop. A rejection there feels like a direct challenge to your expertise. But if it's about subjective taste, like say the color of a car, it's way easier to just dismiss their choice. See, when we can just tell ourselves, oh, well, they just have different preferences, it's like we put up a little shield to protect our sense of expertise. The rejection isn't about our judgment being wrong, it's just about their personal taste. And when that happens, our loyalty to the product stays pretty much intact. So, okay, why does any of this matter in the real world? Well, understanding this bias can actually help us navigate the kind of hidden costs of giving advice. The takeaway here is actually really powerful. This unconscious reaction can literally make you abandon products that are a genuinely great fit for you, all because someone else's choice made you doubt yourself for a second. It's this hidden bias that's just chipping away at your confidence. And really,
The best defense is just being aware of it. So the next time it happens, remember, a rejection from a close friend about a high-quality laptop is going to feel way different than one from an acquaintance about, a t-shirt color.
So I'll leave you with this question. The next time you recommend your favorite restaurant and your friend says, let's go somewhere else, just pause for a second and think. Is that restaurant suddenly not as good as you remembered it being? Or is that little voice of self-doubt just your brain reacting to having its expertise challenged? Kind of makes you think, right?